had to give an opportunity for a big word for you.
The season's officially started.
We already know the top three is locked.
And I just saw Josiah's face.
Well, and that's Andy Reid's play, though. It's day to day.
That's going to make a great show. Hey, welcome into Thy Kingdom Come. We're a podcast where we talk all things Chiefs and NFL. I'm Justin. I'm sitting with Deontay and Josiah over there. Say hi, Josiah, because they can't see you.
Hi, I am here.
Yeah, he is here this week, so we missed him. If you can't tell, we set up a little differently this week. We're just going to kind of lounge and talk. The season's officially started.
Yes.
And since the season's officially started, we're going to look.
We have officially started.
Officially, like, this is.
We just now started showing up.
This is episode 20.
Yes.
Hey,
That's wild.
this. We've
big.
done this 20 times.
Yeah.
That's 2 times 10
That's true.
for you mathletes out there. So
I'm almost been married 5 years, so this is episode 20. It's crazy.
you have, but I don't. Is this where I can say I don't see the continuity there? Does that work?
It's fine.
Had to give an
allow
opportunity
it.
for a big word for you, so we're there.
Big word.
He'd allow it, so we're good.
It's fine.
Yeah, sure.
Motion second
sure.
carried.
Okay. Hey, Josiah, how was your little break?
It was good.
You have fun?
Yeah.
Did you get sunburnt?
Yeah, I got
Good.
sunburned.
Okay.
That's okay.
Nice. Now we're brothers.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I wasn't as well. I was about as red as your guys' shirts, actually. Now that I think about it.
Okay. These are pretty red.
Big red.
Yeah,
These are pretty
big
wet.
red.
Big
That's what they called me because
Dear
I was
God,
so sunburned.
what are we falling to with this podcast? Like, what is happening?
I don't know.
I don't know.
NFL.
Either.
I just
NFL.
work here.
Hey, the NFL stuff. So, since we're saying NFL, why not open up with some moves around the league?
Yes. So 2 big ones, as I'm sure everyone has caught wind of. But you have the first one, Tua Tagovailoa. Mr. Tua, Miami Dolphins. They felt pretty bad after losing to us on the coldest day, so they warmed him up by a big contract. So he got a 4-year, $212 million contract extension. Wow. With $167 million guaranteed, which for the Dolphins gives, the largest contract ever for Dolphins. Listen, the last year and this year is probably the last contracts, for any team really that's been hitting with some of these quarterback contracts. Yeah. So he got $167 million. Or he's getting $167 million guaranteed. I think he's going to come out about $52, or $53.1 million a year.
It's just
yeah. So let's just say he got paid. So they have invested in him and their future. So that's that. He got some money in his pocket. Good job, Tua.
Yeah, good job, Tua.
And then
we're glad. Yeah, no, I'm just glad he's going to be there longer for us to beat him more.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. And then we got Mr. Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers. I will have to say, Tua, I could see and I understand and can see it happen. Jordan Love, now we know that he wasn't attending, he didn't start attending training camp because of some of this contract, and he didn't attend some off-season things that wasn't mandatory, but he, wasn't showing, and a lot of that was because of this. And I am very shocked about his contract.
Yeah.
I'll be very honest.
I'm not.
And his contract breaks down to 4 years, $220 million, which that'll be $55 million a year, which puts him up there. And I think the top 3 paid quarter. He's tied, I think, at number 1 with Joe Burrow and is it Trevor Lawrence or somebody else right there. For $55 million a year.
Golly,
he's getting $75 million at signing bonus. That means when he scribble Jordan Love, he's getting $75 million at that signing. And then he's getting $155 million guaranteed. So it's a lot of money. And again, it's going to take him to about $55 million a year. When you think about the 2 contracts and what their stats look like of last year, you have Mr. Tua, who had scroll up there for Tua.
Yeah, 40 was that 4,800 yards?
Yeah,
4,600.
4,600.
Tua had 4,600 yards, 29 touchdowns, 14 interceptions, was at a 60.8 QBR.
Yep.
And then you had Jordan Love, 4,100 yards, 32 touchdowns, 11 picks, and 62 quarterback rating. And we understand that Tua lost in his first round to the Kansas City Chiefs in the playoffs last year. Jordan Love got his team in the playoffs. I mean, just got in there barely.
Yeah.
And then they beat the Dallas Cowboys in the first round. And to
Was
be
that
honest,
was that more of the like them beating the Cowboys falling apart? I mean, it was a blowout.
it was them falling apart for
Okay,
sure.
yeah.
But I mean, hey, they let's just say that Green Bay capitalized on
Yeah.
the opportunities that they
For
that
sure.
they did in the game. And to be fair, like besides like this contract being unbelievable with just this year with him or whatever, but they had who was it? The 49ers on the ropes.
Yeah.
They had the 49ers on the ropes that game could have went in the Green Bay's favor, but
Yeah, and then
They
we
did
could
it.
have beat the Detroit Lions or the Green Bay Packers in
yeah,
the Super
then
Bowl
we would have
instead.
got our revenge on either one of them from
Yeah.
losing in the regular season.
For sure.
But there it is, two big contracts and quarterbacks. Again, I'm pretty shocked about that Jordan Love one, but hey,
Yeah. Who would you
more
want
power
out of
to you.
those two? If you had to choose out of those two, if you had to choose
If
one.
I had to choose out of those two, I'm probably going with Tua. I don't know, just I know we understand how Aaron Rodgers played in Green Bay and just some of those uncharacteristic like type of plays that he would kind of do. And
Right.
Jordan Love, you've seen even against the Chiefs when we played them, some of those crazy just toss of balls that fell right into their receivers' arms.
It was a luck thing. They talk about Patrick Mahomes' throws being luck, but he's able to consistently repeat it.
Yeah.
Whereas Jordan Love is just kind of like it just miracles.
Yeah.
It seems like.
And I mean, Tua, was that 23? He had a 69% completion, 22, 64, 21, 67,
I mean,
2020, 64. Jordan Love, 2023, he had a 64 completion, 22, 66, 21, 58, but he only played, 6 and then 4 games, which last year been his fourth season. So I don't know. I think Tua does have some accuracy there. He's kind of two-way, and he knows how to push the ball down the field.
I mean, hey, Tyreek
So,
Hill says he's the most accurate quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah, he can have it,
can
but
have
we get the rings. Anyways,
That's right.
But yeah, so that's a couple big contracts around the league. Justin, you want to go ahead and hit on some of these injuries around the league very quickly?
Yeah, man. So I'm gonna do this real quick. I'm not gonna dive into them. I'm just gonna announce it. So Samuel Williams with Dallas, the D end, tore his ACL. He was expected to be a solid pass rush behind DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons. We have Samson Ebukam. I think I said that right.
Yes.
D end for Indianapolis. Tore his Achilles, out for the 2024 season. Sam Hubbard, this could be a big one. Sam Hubbard for Cincinnati, D end, left Sunday's practice with a knee injury. It doesn't look to be a serious injury, but I mean, they took an MRI. It looks okay. He should be all right. Another one, Rashad Bateman, wide receiver for Baltimore. Some say might be the number one guy for what's their quarterback? Lamar Jackson.
Over Zay Flowers.
I was looking online and everybody's like, "Oh, you're our number one guy." I'm like, "You really think he's number one over Zay Flowers?" All right, cool.
I guess so.
Whatever. But Rashad Bateman, he was a big piece of them making the playoff run they did last year. But Rashad Bateman had some rib stomach soreness. He says it's just soreness and nothing else, so not to worry about. He jumped on IG and said that. Here's kind of a big one. Darius Williams for the Rams, DB. He has like a hamstring strain. Sean McVay said they're going to take it easy. They're not going to rush into anything. And that comes after Darian Kendrick, their cornerback, tore his Achilles last week. So they're having a little bit of thinning at their defensive back positions.
Yeah.
Which kind of stinks. Then you got Kendre Miller for running back for New Orleans. Injured his hamstring the first day of Saints practice last week. Ty Johnson, running back for Buffalo, hamstring strain. He's been repping the number 2 with their rookie, Ray Davis, I think is his name. And And then they've been getting that solid, rotation at number 2 reps running back after James Cook. James Cook just recently came back from injury. So then you've got Mekhi Blackman. Man, Mekhi tore his Achilles last week. He's going to miss the season. Minnesota's D-back. That's kind of a big one for them.
And wasn't he was a draft pick, wasn't he?
We'll
We'll circle back to that. I thought that was the one that was the draft pick, but hey.
Yeah, they did bring in Bobby McCain.
Okay.
To kind of help with that. No, he was a 2023 second-round pick, so he's last year.
Okay,
last year was his first year.
Yep.
Third-round pick.
Did I say second? Yeah, third-round pick. Yep. 2023 third-round pick. And then
that hurts.
Sua Opeta,
Yes.
Tampa Bay's guard. I think it's Opeta, but I don't really know. I don't know how to say. A lot of names that are have
That's petty, man.
well, you have Pets, you have Pete, you have is it or A? I don't know.
All of them.
But I'm sure all the Tampa Bay fans, we can ask our boy Jacob how to say his name later. But he tore his ACL, is out for the year.
Man,
and he did sign a 1-year deal this offseason with Tampa Bay, and he's not going to play it. So that kind of stinks for him. And then Nick Chubb still has a way to go with his ACL rehab.
his injury was gruesome last year, man.
So I mean, we'll see how that plays out. But so that's everything around the league.
Yeah.
Let's hit some injuries from our guys. So I'll hit this first. So B.J. Thompson still recovering from when he suffered that seizure and cardiac arrest. Derek Nottie and Charles Omenihu were moved to the PUP list. Let's see. We had Hollywood Brown and Chris Jones came back to practice. Chris Jones was nursing that groin.
Yep.
Hollywood Brown had an illness. CEH came back to practice. He was dealing with some PTSD. So I looked a little bit more into it, and we did have there was the shooting in Kansas City at the rally, but he was also a part of a attempted robbery or carjacking
Yep.
back in 2018. Mm-hmm. So I mean that could also play a role in that. Guy pulled a gun, and then his buddy that Clyde was in the car with pulled a gun and fired some shots. So things like that. There's been several guys on the team who have had their cars stolen or broken into this year. So, I mean, it's just there's a lot going on where that could trigger something like that. So
he said the staff has been really helping him through this time, and it's kind of cool to see a player come out and just be kind of transparent with just the fans and stuff out there, just kind of walking through something as serious as that. So
especially how he stepped up, and was helping a kid that got lost from his parents. He was with him throughout the whole thing, and so he he's a good dude.
Yeah,
Clyde's a good dude, and I'm glad to see that he's willing to be open and honest about some things and be like, hey, it's okay to not be okay sometimes.
Right.
But as long as you surround yourself with the right people, things will be all right. So we wish him to kind of have a quick, recovery mentally, and hopefully football just helps him, get lost from that kind of thinking. So there's that. Jalen Watson, he did return to practice yesterday. He had his helmet, but he didn't put on pads. So he was around the team, which is a good sign.
Yes, absolutely.
It's a good sign. And then we have Nazeeh Johnson, who's kind of nursing a hamstring injury on the same leg as the knee he hurt. He did get a little banged up last week with the knee where he fell weird, and so we're just going to take some precautions with that, make sure he's healthy. There's 3 other guys that are going to be fighting for that second cornerback spot with him, and fighting to get the number 1 spot in that rotation. So we have high hopes for him. He's just taking it easy. He's not risking it. It doesn't look like it's a bad thing. Maybe just a little tweak, but as we all know, a hamstring tweak can last for a long time.
Yeah.
Those things, the more you run, that's all those guys do. The more you run, the more you tweak it. So, next is Justin Watson. So they're still taking it day to day with his foot. They do say it looks like he's going to be fine. It looked terrible.
Yes, it did.
It looked so bad. You saw the video?
I haven't seen the video.
No, I don't know how you haven't seen. It's a terrible. If you want to watch it, go look up Justin Watson foot injury, and it looks like his leg just folded in half.
It looked way worse than what it is.
Oh my gosh!
But
I didn't think I thought his foot was gone. We looked at each other and we're like, he
yeah, it was crazy.
he's gone. Like he ain't coming back. Then next we have this kind of a big one, considering he's kind of moved into a multi-role position, where it's Kadarius Toney left Wednesday's practice with a lower leg, high ankle, somewhere around there, ankle injury, which kind of stinks, man. Like, it looks like he was actually getting some decent reps, rotating in at running back and receiver. And he's always been a decent kick returner for us too. So seeing that is a little bit of a bummer. He can't catch a break, man.
Yeah, he came across, caught a pass, and got hit in the lower section pretty hard. Pretty hard. So
which is I mean, which I get. It's full pads now.
Yeah.
We're going,
I'll be
but
hitting.
Man, like that, getting hit in that way is, we just saw the video just popped up for Justin Watson, and I just saw Josiah's face.
Well, because I kept reading minor foot injury.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, how bad can this be?
It does not look minor.
But then I'm seeing articles that are like, oh, okay, they did downplay it because everyone did think he his leg just disappears.
It just
gone. Disappears.
I told you,
off.
we thought he was gone. It's pretty bad. And then probably the biggest one of all out of the Chiefs camp is Nick Bolton.
Yeah.
Like, this is the biggest worry out of it. So Nick Bolton has played with like braces and stuff before and whatnot, but he got his arm pinched in between a couple of tacklers, and
need to call his elbow.
Yeah, so he came out of the game and it didn't look good. Or he came out of practice and it didn't look good. So yeah, it's a little bit of a worry. But they did say that it looks like everybody will be all right. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So we'll see how that is. So that's it. We'll keep you posted on those injuries, as we get more information. So yeah. That's the injury update with JR.
Yeah, we need those guys to get back healthy.
Yeah, we do.
So moving on here, let's just chat a little bit about some position battles. Some position battles, as been about almost a full week now, with them pads and training camp happening. So left tackle.
Mm-hmm.
Left tackle is a big one. This is a big one that we're all
Huge.
kind of looking at.
That blindside guy.
Yeah, it's just looking at what's going to come out of here. You have Wanye and you have Kingsley. We understand Kingsley was with us last year. He did play some, reps during the season as there was some injury with Donovan Smith.
Yep.
So he came in and stepped and at least stood in there. And then you got Kingsley, who is our second round draft pick that we drafted.
Yep.
And who arguably could have been, some late first round.
Mm-hmm.
So we got him where we got him, which was really good. And so Kingsley, he has been running. I know the last couple of days or whatever, he's been running a lot with the ones.
Yeah.
With Wanye running with the twos. And both of them have been doing well with them run blocking. Even last year when Wanye did play, you could see and run blocking was decent there. But both of them have been seeming a little bit struggling with some of the pass block.
Yeah.
I don't run. There's some highlights out there where Kingsley gets to that second level, and I think Brian Cook was the man up to try to make the tackle, and he got a big guy like that running at you. You're like, I don't want anything to do with this guy.
He made a business decision.
Yes,
a business decision was made.
Absolutely.
Preseason.
Yeah,
6'4",
326 guy coming at you. But there's they've been battling there, and who knows. Wanye was here with us last year.
Yep.
And so they're, maybe the thought is with Kingsley, we're just trying to speed up his reps, speed him up with just just the speed of the NFL and different things like that. But I don't know, man. It who knows? Maybe inside it could be his position to lose. Maybe he's kind of outperforming some of that. And so,
and we had high hopes last season for Wanye.
Yeah, we did.
I mean, as fans, we really, I think, wanted to see more out of him than what we got. So, I'm really hoping that we can get a good rotation out of our tackles as needed. So. Those guys working together, we want to be able to have a next man up mentality, and we don't want to lose anything from it. So even if one guy doesn't start, we need them to still be active in practices and active on game day, making sure they're following everything. They're sitting with the guys. They're sitting with the starters when they're coming to the sideline and talking about previous plays, drives, whatever. You want those guys to be in tune with what's going on the field, even if they're not starting.
Yeah. So. And so yeah, we have that there, and last year reality we had subpar, left tackle play from Donovan Smith. Are we able to get away? Maybe, sure, but hopefully because of those two, again, we had high hopes for Wanye, and maybe he didn't push Donovan Smith to just to compete more. It was just his spot, Maybe with these two young guys competing, that had just pushed him to elevate that left tackle spot going into the year.
Right.
Now we know Mahomes is great in his awareness, but we got to protect him. We have these great playmakers around. Yeah. Hopefully getting the ball out quicker. With his blind side, could be a little questionable, but we know for run blocking, they're pretty stout. So we're still looking at that. There's no really update to who's kind of making headway. They're both getting starter one reps and both getting second string reps. So it's still up in the air, but they're competing, and that's what you want. I guess we'll just have to see who has more grit, who's improves in pass blocking. Yeah, because that's what we need. So especially now that we're going to be throwing the ball down the field.
Right.
We got to be able to hold the line.
Got to be able to. You got to give him the extra couple seconds.
Yeah.
And Patrick Mahomes does move up in the pocket really well.
Yeah, he does.
So, I mean, if as a tackle, you almost want to force those DNs outside.
Yeah.
And then really just put your hand on their shoulder and guide them that way.
Yep.
Get that inside leverage to push out. So, that'll help a lot in the pass game.
Yes.
Get those guys up the field so Patrick Mahomes can step down into the pocket and launch a ball. So
Yep. Which talking about launching the ball, now we get into the wide receiver side of it.
Yeah. You like that transition?
Yeah, look at that wide receiver side of it. We're looking at that, I think that the Chiefs will carry, I feel 6. Yeah. I feel like we'll carry 6.
You got to think of the special teams too. So there's going to be some guy.
So we already know that. We already know the top 3 is locked as long as they stay healthy, and pending the hot topic within Rashee Rice suspension. You got Rice, you got Hollywood Brown, and you got Xavier Worthy. Yep. Those guys going to be your.
I would argue you almost have your top 4 as long as Justin Watson.
Justin Watson is the 4th.
Yeah,
he's the 4th.
But with injury,
yes,
they say day to day, but man, that's such a.
And that's Andy Reid's play though. It's day to day.
He's
just day to day.
Always day to day.
We want some facts.
We've
Come on,
seen day to day last 3 months.
Right. So I do believe Justin Watson's in that 4th spot.
But
see how healthy he's if he's healthy.
Right.
But let's just say on paper he's healthy. I see Justin Watson as the number 4.
Yeah.
And number 5. To be honest, I feel like a lock is Mecole Hardman.
Yeah.
And the reason why I believe that is we've seen what he can do. He's been with us. We brought him back. We understand he's reliable on special teams.
He was also
catches Super Bowl touchdown passes.
When we had Tyreek Hill, he was successful.
Yeah.
Going across the middle of the field.
Yeah.
You have a guy who's just as quick, maybe not just as quick, but he ran a 4.42?
He's quick.
He's a quick guy. So you got to deal with speed on the outsides going out. You got to deal with speed coming across the middle. Those guys that solid rotation of speed. We're gonna have a sub 4.4 guy on the field at all times at receiver, which is crazy to think of.
Yeah.
Whether that's Hollywood Brown or Isaiah, not Pacheco. I mean, although he's like a 4.4 guy as well, but Xavier Worthy, like those guys having that constant sub 4.4 speed that cornerbacks got to deal with. It's a tiring thing, man. We're gonna have that rotation. Most cornerbacks are. You're not gonna have a deep rotation at cornerback for a lot of teams.
Yeah.
So
Hardman ran a 4.33.
It was 4.33.
Yeah, 4.33.
Dang, I thought it was
40 time. But I think that he's that fifth spot lock. And here's the thing, like, some of when he did play a lot more, he had some injuries here and there. But with the top guys they have now, just not playing as much, maybe help his durability.
Yeah.
And he comes through. So I think the fifth spot is a lock with Mecole Hardman.
Okay.
But I mean, anything can happen. You know what I'm saying? And then we're looking at that sixth spot, and I think as it stands, I think Tony may be that guy. With maybe pushing Scott Moore into that practice squad.
So,
but I think Tony may be.
I've got kind of a hot take, man.
What you got?
If they're going to be rotating, if they're going to rotate Tony around to like running back kind of stuff, maybe turn him into a Jerick McKinnon type role. I think, just on what I've seen this week, I think Justin Ross might kind of punch through. Justin Ross has been like making plays throughout the week. Well, I'm a huge Justin Ross fan. He spells his name the same way I do. So there's that.
Well, there has been some little talks in the last couple of days that they don't feel like he has given more in, a lot of the some of those jump ball scenarios that last year when he was pushing towards that. And, I'll be honest, like I feel like, even with some of the question marks with, some of the things with Tony and Moore or what have you, that I believe like this is a very talented receiver group.
Yeah.
Probably like all around, removing the mistakes of last year, probably all around one of the most talented receiver rooms that he's had. And so there's a lot of competition when
so you got
you got Nico, and I've heard
Nico Remigio.
Yeah, I've heard Montreal Washington has been a dog out there.
So if you look at our receiving room right now in camp, there's 11 to 12 guys that have a chance to make, if they're on other practice squads or like they're on other teams in camp, there's a good chance those guys make a team.
Yeah.
Make a 53-man roster.
I would love to see Justin Ross get in there. Like,
yeah. I mean, he's a bigger guy. He should be able to. Yeah. We do kind of need that size a little bit at receiver. We have fast, smaller guys. I mean, Rashee Rice is kind of a little bit bigger of a guy. Yeah. So, but having a guy like Justin Ross's size would be nice.
Being able to get some of those jump balls in the red zone.
Right. But then again, we also did just get Jared Wiley.
I know.
So it's, man, it's kind of crazy to think of how we went from with receiving last year to now the complete shift in difference that we have. There's actually hype about the receiving room this year. I'm
absolutely.
So stoked.
I know, same here. So, yeah, that's just kind of, I know that 5th and 6. I mean, it's gonna be a dogfight. Yep. So we'll see what happens.
Yep.
And then earlier we talked about the injury with Najee Johnson. So the cornerback. Sorry, we got Trent McDuffie. He's a lock.
Yep.
And he's gonna be the number one guy. And Spags said in his car, he's like, I'm just looking for that number 2 spot, somebody to step up and say it's mine. Now we understand that Joshua Williams in his interview talked about like I want to be that guy and everything, but some are believing he may have regressed because he's been taking a lot of 2 reps.
Yeah.
So second string reps.
Yeah.
And Najee Johnson outside of the with him kind of with this little injury, a lot of Najee Johnson has been getting a lot of those reps, understanding that, one person who's competing is Jalen Watson. He just hasn't been able to compete, which, he may shine and step up there. But with Najee Johnson and Jalen Watson have what they have, they send Kelvin Joseph has been stepping up big and running with the ones. So, there is like some battling going on there. And Spags just said, I'm just looking for the guy to step up, says, I want it, and then their actions are showing it.
Yeah.
And so it is an open door right now. We understand that losing Snead was a big deal, but we got some young talent that Dave Merritt is working with just to get them in the right position to be able to come out there and play. So the only thing that makes me feel good is that it makes me feel good that within, one of those four could have that spot. And then the backups between that person and Trent McDuffie are solid.
Depth.
So then when we run into that nickel, things are solid.
Yep.
And you can trust that no matter which one of these guys that you have in, as the number 2 or the guy coming in within the nickel, they are going to solid. And then behind them, for a moment of, a rest or whatever, you still got some depth in there.
Yep.
And so I think they got some young talent that is battling there. And then look at somebody like Shamari Connor.
Yep.
He can kind of play a little bit everywhere.
Yeah.
If you maybe need him in that nickel, you know what I mean? So there's some depth there, and it's just like,
Well, and you got to think, depth is everything for a long season. Like they're talking about potentially going 18 games now, like in the future.
Oh yeah.
So you really have to pay attention to depth. Honestly, if they go 18 games, I think they got to up the roster to like add a few more slots.
Right.
Like go up to
Maybe
60-man roster.
A second bye week almost.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Second bye week. But anyways, that's beside the point of this conversation. But we have depth and we have good depth.
Yeah.
And it's crazy to me how we can do that and keep talking about potentially like not going over our cap,
Right. Mm-hmm.
Which I don't have it on the list, but there were some statements made on Twitter by a guy that might have some signings coming up soon. So I'll talk about that in a minute.
Oh, yeah,
but let's
with,
keep
with the guy in the middle.
Yeah, man.
So there's let's just say there's been a lot of battling in training camp within the cornerback position. So we'll see how that goes. And so those are that's kind of what happened within those three. The running back 3 slot is pretty. I think it's pretty there that to where they have been running Eric Prince as a lot of number 2s, but again, that's probably just getting him a lot of reps in there.
Yeah.
Which I think CEH, what you got there, he's reliable, and he's the guy that probably going to hit that that number 2 spot with Deneric Prince as the third guy. Keontae Ingram, he's doing okay, but again, I think because you've been seeing that once Pacheco goes out, Deneric Prince has been stepping in. He's probably in that second or third, where CEH is going to be that reliable guy that you have there. So we all would love to see McKinnon come back, but I think it looks to be they're comfortable and set with Pacheco, Clyde, and Prince.
Right.
So
and the closer we get to like actual preseason games, which start next week.
Yeah.
Today is the Hall of Fame game.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Today's we're recording Thursday. This might come out same day. It might come out Friday morning. But I mean, the closer we get to actually preseason games, the more realistic in my brain it is that we might not carry my man LRZ on the roster. Which kind of stinks for me. I'm a huge fan of the rugby guy. But I mean, we signed him to a 3-year international deal or whatever it was. And
right.
So we still got time to work on that guy. He's 22 years old. He's a young dude, first year playing football. So, but yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah.
So
let's hit real quick before we close out here the rumor within the Creed Humphrey potential extension there.
Yeah, within the next week, they're saying online.
Yeah,
and it's a guy I can't remember. I think it's like
it was like Rich or something, or
Ricky or Pretty Ricky or something like that.
Yeah.
He's not a very viable source.
Right. Is he pretty?
He's not. Oh, stop it. He's not a verified source, but a lot of stuff he said in the off season,
has come about within contracts and things.
with not just the Chiefs, but like a lot of people. So, and he said
not the rap artist.
So it's not the rap. It's like Ricky something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But he
he's kind of come out and stated that, within the next week there could be an extension with Creed Humphrey that makes him the highest paid center in the NFL. We understand with Jason Kelce retired. Creed Humphrey is that dude in that top, that top rated center across the league.
Yeah.
With only been this his third year, right? Coming into his third year.
Yeah.
Yes. Coming to his third year. So it's like, he has made such an impact. And I know some of us may hate to hear that a little bit because we're like, man, the center that they believe that to be competing with, he's getting about $13 million a year. Yeah. So they would have to get around that 14, 15, somewhere around there. And so with hearing that, and then, he also kind of mentioned something about Bucker, which, could be the highest paid kicker, just happened to get around that $6 million.
Right.
But some of this money running out to be able to pay Trey Smith, who in the guard market, he could be, he
I don't
could be
know
competing
where we're
around
getting this money from.
I know he can be competing around $20 million, which makes it believe that if Creed gets this extension, and we would do with Bucker, that we probably won't have the money for Trey Smith, and let alone Nick Bolton. So Trey Smith is, man.
What's that dude's handle?
Pretty Ricky 213.
I was right with Pretty Ricky. Look at that. Oh man.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
Trey Smith is a dog out there.
He is.
But Creed Humphrey, having that guy in the middle stabilizes.
Yeah.
Has that chemistry with Mahomes, the call outs.
Right.
I mean, you've seen just what the career that Jason Kelce have, and we're needing something like that. So we're looking to invest in that. The only bummer is, potential losing Trey Smith.
Yeah.
Which him, Tooney, and Humphrey are, man, I don't know, the three of the best tangent interior linemen in the NFL. Yeah. So, but hey, Creed gets paid,
honestly,
stays, and I don't know. Our guy Veach may be, hey, I got some money to whip out that, I've been able to move some numbers here. Well, Trey Smith, will you stay maybe for about 18?
You look at Mahomes.
To get some more rings on that finger.
You look at Kelce. You look at Chris Jones. They know how to spend the money, right? Yeah. So they're finagling. And, so people are saying Patrick Mahomes has the least amount of money per year out of quarterbacks, but if you look at it from 2023 to 2026, he was set to make the most amount of money. From 2024 to 2027,
right.
He's set to make the most amount of money because they backloaded that 10 years. He's making more per year over those 4-year spans,
right?
And they structure every year,
yes,
so that, in theory, he is making the most amount of money.
Yep.
So we can see that the front office is really good at making decisions with the finances to make their guys happy.
Yep.
Right. So,
and he's been willing to do some of that, and maybe making 20-something million a year. And you're like, how is this guy? But it's like, I want the team to progress, and I'm for that, and he knows he's going to get paid. He's getting paid. He's okay.
Well, what's the difference? So really, is there a difference to your lifestyle between $45 million a year and $55 million a year?
Dude, you just don't understand. That last 10 mil is what does it.
That last 10 million, right?
It's what does it.
Yeah, my jet can be a little bit bigger. It's. Are you kidding me, man? There's not really a difference, and I think Patrick Mahomes understands the investment in him and the team and the city. The dude's. He's
locked in here.
He's locked into Kansas City. He owns part of the Royals, man.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which, I mean,
and his wife with
KC Current,
yes,
and Sporting KC.
Yep.
So
they're locked in,
they're locked into our team. Which shout out to the Royals, man. We're killing it right now.
Yes.
Royals are 60-49 right now.
Yeah,
we're
making
killing
that fight for that wild card, baby.
Let's go. All right, but outside of that, man, I don't really have anything else. Next week we'll kind of touch on the Mark Donovan contract stadium situation, maybe a little bit of the Rashee Rice suspension, maybe a little bit about how Brandon Ayuk cannot really doesn't want to be in San Francisco.
Right.
So we'll see what goes on there. Talk about who's going to do our punt returns, man.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of touch on that next week.
Maybe we may have some more clarity on positions or what have you. So yeah,
for sure.
As we go into that first preseason game. So.
Yeah, and starting next week, our video should be out Tuesday night, Wednesday morning. We're going to get into our season rotation. We're recording on Tuesdays, day after Monday night games. So we'll go play that by ear.
Yeah,
and we'll see. We'll just see what happens, man.
Yeah,
we're 9 days away from the first preseason game, and I could not be more elated.
Yep.
I'm going to watch
We're
everything.
In season form, so let's go.
So sweet. You got anything, Josiah?
No, I'm good.
You good?
Yep.
D, you good?
Good.
All right. Well, I guess until next time, guys. Thy kingdom come.